Picking up armhole stitches. But first, we need to transfer our waste yarn onto our needles. So I'm going to unbind this knot, untie it, and just transfer the stitches, picking up the stitches with my needle and ignoring the, I guess I could pull it out anytime, ignoring the waste yarn and transferring our markers as we come to them. I have a marled yarn here. I'm marling the yarn with a fingering weight and a mohair weight. So I have 2 yarns that I'm working with. It results in a worsted weight yarn, fabric I should say, and I have to make sure I'm picking up both of those yarns as well, so make sure that that's happening. I ended off on a row 4 on my feather motif before I knit the body. So my first round is I'm going to knit the row 1 of the feather motif. So here I have our stitch markers transferred. Now pull this waste yarn out, and yeah, back soon. Okay, so we've successfully picked up or transferred our waste yarn stitches, our sleeve stitches, onto our working needle. And this is the largest needle for the project. And now we're going to pick up our stitches. The ones that we had cable casted on to knit the body are right here. And we're going to pick these up to close this gap. So I'm going to insert my needle right in this gap here. And I know that my first stitch that I cast on is here, because this was part of the last stitch in the row before we cast it on. So I want to pick up a stitch, one before the cast on, I want to pick up the cast on stitches, and one after the cast on, and I'll show you why. It's really quite lovely. So I'll put my needle in underneath the last 2 ladders there and wrap this yarn as though I'm knitting it. And there is a point if I move these 2 together, and I'm going to put it into the middle of this stitch here. And I'm going to trap that tail under my yarn as I'm working it. So there we have, is that correct? Yes, that's beautiful. Now that's 2 stitches, the third will go in here. Wrap that yarn. 4 will go into this spot here. I'm going to just lift this yarn up, and that's only to trap it onto underneath the working yarn. Okay, so there's 4. I'm going to skip this upside down V and put it into this loop here. That makes 5. Yarn up, pop it in underneath here, yarn stitch, cast on 6, 2, 4, 6, and pop it in under there. That makes 7. I need a total of 10 because I cast on 8 stitches earlier. So there it is. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, and it's going to go into this large loop right here. This it's seems to be a bit bigger because of stress and whatnot, and that's where we joined. So we're going to fix that. That makes 10. Now that we've picked up our stitches, we're going to knit to the first marker. This marker is the new beginning of round. So if you like, you can move your beginning of round marker to there, if you like, or indicate it in a special way by changing the color, adding a little bobble to it, to your marker, or just remember. Okay? This is my new beginning of round. All right. Of asking myself, where am I in the feather motif? And when I look like this, I see there are 3 rows of purl in the back, and now it's time to do my round 1 of the feather motif. So purl 1, knit 4 together. I bring those tips to the narrowest point, wrap my yarn, bring it through, make sure I don't splice any yarns. Okay. Yarn over 1, yarn over 2, yarn over 3, yarn over 4, yarn over 5, and I should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 left. 6th yarn over, slipping knitwise, 1, 2, 3, knit the last on 4, and now slip those 3, 3, 2, 1, slipping it over that first knit, yarn forward and purl. Slip my yarn, marker, slip the marker. I'm going to knit to my magic loop, and I'll show you another trick. You can twist up your work a lot and untwist, but I'm going to twist my work this way and knit to untwist it. So I am going to pull my magic loop at about here. So there's my beginning of round marker. That was my marker. And I'm going to pull it about, I don't know, 8 or 10 stitches away. Push my needles down and in, and knitting to just 1 stitch before the picked up stitches. So here I am 2 stitches away, and here is my 1 stitch before the picked up stitches. And my instructions says to SSK. So I'm going to do the S. This stitch is twisted, so I'm going to bring it back to normal. So slip, slip, knit 2 together, and knit across based on your table. So if it's 8 stitches you originally cable casted on, or 10, 12, or 14, and then, so there's my stitches, and now, so wait a second, I did my SSK right here, SSK, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and now I will knit 2 stitches together. Put my needle in front of the second stitch, through the first stitch, and knit them together. That makes the knit 2 together. And now I'll knit to the beginning of round. And my beginning of round is right about here. It's my marker. It tells me I'm beginning of round. Great. And now we have back to our regular stitch numbers. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Pull my needles out. So we've closed that gap We're supposed to close it much better than that, but we will. I promise you. It's going to look gorgeous.